Several teams have been very active this offseason in improving their squads. Today, I'm going to tell you my top 5 teams who have improved the most and have made the best moves this offseason. But before we get into that, make sure you like this video down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Guys, we are so close to hitting 6K subscribers. We're less than 300 away. Our goal is to hit that number by MLS opening day. And with your help, I know we will hit that number. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the little bell notification so you never miss a video. And now on to our list. Starting at number 5, we have Charlotte FC. Charlotte FC signed Wilfried Zaha from Galatasaray on a loan. And this is a guy who was very good for Crystal Palace for several years. I think he was worth in the range of 60 to 70 million pounds at one point. And he looked like he was on the trajectory of being one of the better players in the Premier League and probably getting a bigger move. Well, he kind of stalled out a little bit, but he's still relatively young. He's only 32 years old. He comes to Charlotte. Charlotte has been chasing a big name for several years, and they narrowly missed out on Marco Royce last year. He didn't want to go to Charlotte. He decided to go to LA, but they were trying to get a player of that profile. Wilfried Zaha adds a lot of value to this team. We saw that Dean Smith is a good manager. He led them to the playoffs in 2024. This is a team that seems like they might be one piece away from really putting it together and competing. They also went for Miguel Almiron, and that didn't work out in 2024. And they tried again in 2025 and missed on him. But they got Pep Biel on a loan extended through August of 2025 to see a little bit more of him and what he can do for this team. And they have Abada, who they signed last year. This is a team that just looks like they're ready to truly put themselves in the top 5 conversation of the Eastern Conference. I think Wilfried Zaha is going to be a very, very good player for Charlotte FC. And who knows, he might even make his way into the MVP discussions if he can play like he did at his Crystal Palace days. I'm excited to see what Charlotte FC can do. Let me know down below if you agree, if Charlotte FC has had a top 5 offseason in MLS this season or this 2025 season. Number 4, San Jose, the wooden spoon winners of MLS, or losers, if you want to call them, in 2024. They have done a complete revamp, signing several players from the New England Revolution because of the manager they hired, which was Bruce Arena. Now, Bruce Arena is highly debated these days in MLS. Some people think he's a dinosaur. Some people think he's the GOAT. I think he's the GOAT in MLS because he's won 4 or 5 MLS Cups. He's won everywhere he's been. He's competitive. He is really good at getting the most out of his team. So what better coach could San Jose hire to elevate their play and make them relevant again? They hired the MLS GOAT, who had a lot of success with the LA Galaxy, is a U.S. men's national team coach for 2 stints. And they also had a great trade getting Chicho Arango from RSL for like 1.5 million in GAM. You get a proven goal scorer who's only 29. He will be 30 in 2025, but he is a proven goal scorer. You get him for a cheap deal, and that is honestly one of the biggest stepping stones you can have in Major League Soccer to being competitive. You got to have a goal scorer, and they have that. And they also signed a second goal scorer in Joseph Martinez to partner or at least rotate with Chicho Arango. And I think this could be a very dynamic duo. Now, we don't know for sure if Hernan Lopez is going to be the starting 10 or if he's going to be on this team. There has been some reports about Lucho Acosta possibly being a trade target for San Jose. So we'll see about that. But as of right now, Chicho Arango, Joseph Martinez, Bruce Arena has transformed this team. They're going to be exciting to see. They might be the second best team in California in 2025. We'll have to see. But this is going to be a different team. They will not be the worst team in Major League Soccer in 2025. This is going to be a team that is likely to make the playoffs in 2025. And I can't wait to see what Bruce Arena can do for this club to revitalize a team that used to be very competitive. We will see. Let me know what you guys think about that. San Jose at number 4. Now at number 3, we have the defending MLS Cup champions, the LA Galaxy. Now, they lost a couple players. Ricky Puig obviously is going to be out with an injury. They lost Brugman, or traded him to Nashville SC because they couldn't afford to keep him. They were able to re-sign Yoshida, even though there was some contract contract disputes about if they'd be able to keep him. They had to get rid of Dejan Joveljic, but they have made some signings and they have done some things to really rebound and make this team competitive and look like they are going to make a serious run for the CONCACAF Champions Cup and repeat in MLS. They signed Lucas Sanabria from Nacional of Uruguay, and he's going to be a U22. He's going to be a natural replacement for Brugman. He is going to he has a lot of talent and upside. A lot of people think he's really good. They paid 5 to 6 million for him, I think, for 80% of his rights. And this is another great signing by Will Kuntz, and just shows that he is very forward thinking. He's always a step ahead, thinking and planning for the future. They add another young, talented midfielder to the equation next to Cerrillo. And probably Marco Royce is going to play more as the Ricky Puig role until he comes back. This team is going to be fine in the midfield. That is a great addition for this team. And then they also signed Zonka from Anderlecht, who is also a Premier League veteran. They signed him uh, probably for a very team friendly deal. He was going to potentially be a replacement for Yoshida if he didn't resign, but now they have both. So they have depth at one of the most important positions in Major League Soccer. Hell, one of the most important positions in soccer in general, center back. You can never have too many good center backs. They have Yoshida, who's a veteran at this point, MLS Cup winning center back. Obviously, his pedigree as a player in every league he's played in. And then another one in Zonka, who has played in the Premier League, who is recently playing in the Belgian Pro League with Anderlecht. This is a good signing. It's a veteran, 34 years old. And I think this is a great signing for them, especially for their run if they want to win more than just MLS Cup. And then they also were tasked with replacing Dejan Joveljic. So they traded for Christian Ramirez, who is a great, probably the best backup striker in the league, who'd start on many teams from the Columbus Crew. He could even start up top if they struggle with this next signing we're going to talk about in a second. He is very versatile. He can start. He has scored goals. He's going back home. This is a piece that you sign when you're really making a run for the CONCACAF Champions Cup. Now, the other guy that they're rumored to be signing is Matthias Nascimento from Botafogo. And we will see if that can get through. It looks like it's going to happen. U22 striker, very talented, but he is a little injury prone. But if he hits, playing next to Joseph Paintsel, playing next to Gabriel Peck, playing above in front of Ricky Puig when he gets healthy, and Sanabria and Cerrillo or Marco Royce. This is going to be a very, very good signing. You could say it's high risk, but it's also high reward. You're getting a very talented player that has been derailed a little bit because of injuries, but if he hits, this could be a crazy good signing. So I'm going to be very interested to see what happens with the LA Galaxy in 2025. I got them number 3. Love to know what you guys think down below about that selection. Now, moving on to number 2, Inter Miami. Inter Miami really needed some depth this offseason. They needed to move off a couple people. They did. They needed to add some youth. They needed to add some depth in the midfield. They needed to replace Diego Gomez, who was a very good player in 2024, arguably their best player at some times. Destroyer in the midfield. He went to Brighton in 2025, the beginning of this season, and they signed a plethora of players this offseason. Now, I have to say this too. They did replace Tata Martino, who they said left for personal reasons, but it's more likely he got pushed out. Replace him with Javier Mascherano, legend on the pitch. We'll see what he can do on off the pitch as a manager for this team, but I think he'll be fine. I think that he will do good, but there is going to be high expectations, especially since this team broke the MLS record for most points with 74 in 2024. But they signed Tadio Allende. They signed Gonzalo Lujan. They signed Maxi Falcon, Talasco Segovia, and Fafa Pico. 5 players, 5 dead players. They signed some good players that can start. I think Maxi Falcon is probably my favorite signing they've made. Talked to a lot of people, especially some people more familiar with the Uruguayan national team scene. He played for Colo-Colo in Chile. He's really good. They got a bargain for him. Some people think that the $3 million they paid was maybe really friendly. Could have maybe sold for $5 to $6 million. But he's an enforcer. He's got grit. He's a dog in the back line. He is going to be a difference maker, most likely starting next to Toto Aviles. That is something they desperately need because their back line has been atrocious and cost them many, many big moments in games. in 2024 and even in 2023. I think that was one of their biggest downfalls of them failing to beat Atlanta United in the first round of the MLS Cup playoffs. Talasco Segovia maybe will eventually replace Diego Gomez, but I think they're probably going to go with a different combination at first. I don't expect him to start. Fafaf Biko obviously is a veteran in MLS, has proven that he can score, played with Vancouver, played in Nashville, if I'm not mistaken. He is a good depth piece. I have no concerns about him as a rotational piece. I don't really want him to start on the left wing, but I do like him as a depth piece, especially for a team that's going to try to make a run at the CONCACAF Champions Cup and probably some other tournaments and Club World Cup, obviously, too. They're going to be competing in the Club World Cup. They need all the depth they can get. Want to know what you guys think? Do you think Inter Miami had a number 2 worthy best offseason MLS? Do you think their team improved? Will this team win any trophies? And will they be able to beat their last year's record of 74 points? Let me know in the comment section down below. Now, at number 1, we have Mr. Arthur Blank Checks just signing those checks and saying he'll pay whatever he can possibly pay to make his team better. Atlanta United. Now, Atlanta United broke the MLS transfer record for signing Emmanuel Latte Lot. Now, you guys know if you watch my videos how I feel about him, but that doesn't matter. He's going to be good. It's just a matter of how good will he be. They spend $22 million with incentives that could possibly get it to $28 million. He is by far the most expensive player in MLS history. He had Premier League interest, and he is a talented player. We will see what he can do in 2025 for Atlanta United, and he will be linking up with Miguel Almiron. He returns to Atlanta United after 6 long years of being gone when he went to Newcastle United after being a Atlanta United legend, honestly, in his first 2 years, winning MLS Cup under Tata Martino and playing next to Joseph Martinez. He returns after 6 years. It's hard to believe it's been that long, but he comes back. It will be interesting to see what they do, linking up with each other. And also Miranchuk. Miranchuk is someone they bought in the summer of 2024. Having him into this equation too, this team is going to be lethal, and they're going to be very fun to watch. And guess what? They're going to be playing under Ronnie Dyla. Now, Ronnie Dyla gets a bad rap because of his inconsistencies, but you must remember, Ronnie Dyla won an MLS Cup with New York City FC in 2021 with honestly not a crazy talented team. Now, some people will say that it was because New England had, I think it was a sickness or something like that where they missed some players. It doesn't matter. He sealed the deal. He beat Portland on PKs in 2021, and he is an MLS Cup winning head coach and manager. So getting someone like him who's also won the Premiership, Scottish Premiership with Celtic, he was coaching at Standard Liège. I think he was at Bruges as well. I mean, he's got some pretty impressive stops as a manager, and they're getting him in MLS. He's relatively young. I don't even think he's 50 yet. And I think he's going to really be able to get the most out of this roster, and it's going to culminate in something very special. Atlanta United is my number 1 team that has had the best offseason MLS in 2025. I want to know what you guys think about that. Do you agree with Atlanta United at number 1? What would be your top 5 best offseasons in MLS this season? The top 5 teams who've had the best offseason in MLS in 2025. Let me know down below. Also, guys, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Like I said, we're close to 6,000. Hit the little bell notification so you never miss a video. And until next time, guys, I will see you all soon.